Philly's got their cheesesteaks, and Chicago's famous for their Italian beef sandwiches. Out in LA, you've got the famous French dip, but here in New England, well, we like a good steak bomb. And Da Bomb, Ashley, is here, sorry. She's gonna show us how to make this great sandwich.
I am. So if you're from New England, chances are you have had a steak bomb and you know just how good they are. But the one that we love the most is a place up in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. And it's a super steak shop. It's called Jitto's Super Steak. Nice. And they have the most amazing steak bombs, super tender meat, the vegetables, the onions, the mushrooms, and the peppers are super, super well seasoned and cooked to perfection.
All right, sold.
Yeah, so let me show you our version of how to make that.
Okay.
So we're gonna start with some vegetable preparation. We've got our usual suspects, red bell pepper, some white mushrooms, and an onion.
Peppers, onions, mushroom. Gotta have it.
Gotta have it. So I'm just gonna use the striations of the onion and kind of guide me across the onion, just 1/4 inch thick slices. All right, now for this red bell pepper, I'm just going to stem, seed, and then slice this pretty thinly as well, about 1/4 inch thick as well.
Okay.
All right, now for the mushrooms, I've got 4 ounces here, just plain white button mushrooms. I'm just going to stem them and then halve them and slice them thin.
Okay.
All right, so I'm putting these in the same bowl because the mushrooms and the peppers are gonna go into the skillet at the same time.
Okay.
Now, let's get to the bomb part of our steak bomb.
Okay.
Genoa salami.
Genoa salami and a steak bomb.
Yep. So just 1.5 ounces of the thinly sliced salami. Just find it at the deli at your grocery store.
Great.
And that is done. Now let's get to the steak of our steak bomb. I've got 1 pound of sirloin steak tips, also sold as flat meat, as you see in the grocery store. This is actually really well trimmed, but if it did have any kind of connective tissue or extra fat on there, you would go ahead and trim it right now. I'm going to cut this into 3/4 inch pieces. All right, so I'm gonna wash my hands. Time to cook the vegetable portion of our steak bombs. I've got 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil in this 12-inch nonstick skillet over medium-high heat. As you can see, there are some beautiful ripples. We are up to a shimmer. So I'm gonna add our onions. And I'm gonna cook these for about 4 minutes until the onions are beginning to brown.
Okay.
All right, 4 minutes has passed and you can see the onions are beginning to brown. So now I'm gonna add the rest of the vegetables to the skillet and I'm gonna let that go for about 6 minutes, but I need to season the vegetables at this stage. So 1 teaspoon of one of my favorite seasoning weapons here, of the Lawry's seasoning salt. Now they use this up at Jitto's. And it's just one way that kind of makes their steak bomb extra special because of the seasoning out of this jar. So 6 minutes here, and then we're gonna come back and get to the beef.
Okay.
The vegetables are really beautifully softened.
They're gorgeous.
Gorgeous. I'm just gonna transfer them to this bowl here because they are good and cooked. Now, let's move on to the sub rolls.
All right.
Here I have 4 sub rolls that are split and still together on one side. Now these are Piantadosi bakery rolls. They come from a bakery in Malden, Massachusetts, and this is the type of roll that Jitto's uses. What's important is they use them because they're sturdy on the exterior, but then they're really nice and soft on the interior.
Gorgeous. So if you can't get the specific brand, soft on the inside, sturdy on the outside.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now I've got 6 tablespoons of mayonnaise that I'm gonna spread on the interior of each roll. So I'm gonna do about 1.5 tablespoons per.
Okay.
So I have an oven that's been preheated to 400 degrees with the oven rack set at the middle position. And I'm just gonna cook these for about 5 minutes until they're turning golden brown. Now, it's time to move on to our steak. I'm gonna heat up vegetable oil. I've got 1 teaspoon until just smoking. Now it's time to add the steak. All right, I just put it in a single layer, but I'm not gonna touch it after that point because we wanna get a good amount of browning on the meat and we wanna cook it for about 5 minutes to medium. And also I'm gonna add a little bit more of the Lawry's, 1 more teaspoon, sprinkle right over. And finally, the salami. I'm just gonna sprinkle that over top. All right, 5 minutes, not stirring at all. And we're gonna want the meat to be medium because we want it to be super tender on the interior, but cooked through, looking for that crisp bottom.
Okay, great.
The steak is nice and cooked. Now just off the heat, I'm gonna add our vegetables and just stir everything together. All right, so now I'm going to fill the sub rolls evenly with our steak and vegetable mixture.
And you are generous with your filling here. This is how they do it at Jitto's?
It sure is. So I've got 8 slices of deli American cheese, and I'm going to just put 2 pieces over top. All right, now I'm going to put this back in the 400-degree oven for just 1 minute until the cheese is melted. Oh, wow.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, ma'am, I'm here from the bomb squad.
I'm picking this one. Oh, yeah. Ooh, I really have goosebumps. I'm not even joking right now.
Look at that. Cheese melted.
I know.
Vegetables peeking out there. This is what I like to call good eating. Mm-hmm. Real good eating.
Mm-hmm. Only one way to find out just how good this is.
I agree. That is right.
Happy dance.
That is so good.
Wow.
That meat is so tender in there. It's the salami. It's a little tangy. That and the mayonnaise together.
Yeah.
Those two add so much flavor in here. Of course, that seasoned salt gives a very specific. It tastes like no other hoagie or sub or grinder or anything else that I've ever had.
For full episodes of your favorite cooking shows, head over to ATK's Full Episodes channel on YouTube. You can stream complete seasons of America's Test Kitchen, Cook's Country, and more. See you there.